What if I told you she hasn't left you yet, but her heart already has? The cruelest breakup isn't when she walks out. It's when she stays, smiling, pretending, while planning her escape. You think everything's fine, but she's already checked out emotionally. In this video, I'll reveal the 7 psychological traps men fall into when that happens. But first, if you're ready to finally see the truth most men ignore, hit that subscribe button, tap like, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? Let's see where the sharpest men in the world are tuning in from tonight. 1. The comfort trap. You stopped being her mystery. It doesn't happen overnight. One day she's laughing at your stories. The next she's scrolling through her phone while you're talking. No fights, no drama, just that quiet, suffocating calm that feels more like distance than peace. You tell yourself it's normal, that every long-term relationship settles. But what you call comfort, she feels as complacency. See, for women, mystery isn't about secrets. It's about emotional stimulation. When she can predict your next word, your next move, even your next apology, the spark dies quietly. You become routine. And routine is the slowest kind of death for desire. You stopped flirting. You stopped surprising her. You stopped being unpredictable. Somewhere between paying bills and fixing things around the house, you became reliable, but not magnetic. And while you were proud of that, she started to feel invisible. She still says, "I love you," but it's the kind of love that sounds like gratitude, not passion. She appreciates you the way someone appreciates a favorite chair. Comfortable, familiar, safe. But no one dreams about the chair. Now here's the part men over 50 often miss. Women don't leave because of chaos. They leave because of emotional stillness. That quiet phase when she starts going to yoga classes 3 times a week. The same yoga she said was boring last year. Suddenly, there's a new instructor, really good with form. She laughs when she talks about him, says he's just a professional. But notice how she brings him up often, always casually, always harmlessly. That's not danger yet, but it's drift. She starts staying late at work, says her team's restructuring. Her phone buzzes during dinner, and she turns it face down. Not because she's hiding something yet, but because she's practicing hiding. These are rehearsals, quiet tests to see how much distance she can create without you noticing. You'll brush it off. You'll say, "She's just tired," or "She deserves some space." You'll convince yourself it's maturity. But what's really happening is she's emotionally relocating, setting up a version of herself that exists without you in it. The comfort trap makes you think stability equals safety. It's the lie that no arguments means everything's fine. But silence isn't peace, it's withdrawal. When she stops complaining, she's not calmer, she's done negotiating. And here's the cruel twist. She won't show anger, she'll show kindness. She'll make your favorite meal, laugh at your jokes again, maybe even surprise you with affection. But if it feels forced, like she's performing the role of a loving partner instead of being one, trust that instinct. Because women don't fake warmth unless they're covering a chill. The comfort trap blinds you because it feels good, it feels safe. You think you've found calm after decades of chaos. But comfort without connection is just emotional sedation. You're not in a relationship anymore. You're in a routine that's been drained of meaning. And when that happens, she doesn't argue. She evolves, quietly, efficiently, without warning. So ask yourself this: when was the last time she looked at you with curiosity instead of courtesy? When was the last time she asked why you do something instead of just nodding through it? Because once her curiosity dies, her loyalty starts packing its bags. But boredom isn't the real danger here. Because the next trap doesn't just make her drift, it makes her rewrite the story so that you're the villain. 2. The guilt trap. You start apologizing for her distance. At first, it's barely noticeable. She's quieter, more distracted. You catch her staring into space at dinner or checking her phone mid-conversation. When you ask if something's wrong, she sighs and says, "No, you're just different lately." That's how the guilt trap begins. She pulls away, then makes you feel like you caused it. This is psychological sleight of hand at its finest. She doesn't accuse you directly. She just plants small seeds of doubt. Suddenly, you're wondering if you've been too busy, too distant, too you. You start apologizing for things you didn't do, trying to fix a mood that isn't yours to fix. It's subtle manipulation, but not always malicious. When a woman emotionally checks out, she feels guilt, and guilt needs a target. So instead of owning her emotional withdrawal, she projects it. She'll say she's overwhelmed, confused, or just tired. You'll offer to help. She'll say, "No, it's not you." Then act cold for another week. It's a cycle. Create distance, receive comfort, reset control. And because you're a good man, a man who believes in loyalty, in understanding, you try harder. You buy her flowers. You plan a date night. You even double text to make sure she's okay. But your effort doesn't bridge the gap. It widens it. Because the more you chase her warmth, the more she feels justified in pulling away. In her mind, she's already halfway gone. Your pursuit only reminds her how much power she has left. Here's where the gossip starts. She tells her friends she's confused, says you've changed, maybe even hints that the spark is gone. But she doesn't mention the coworker she's been texting during lunch breaks, or the emotional high she gets from being admired by someone new. The story she's crafting isn't about truth. It's about permission. If she can convince herself that you're the problem, she doesn't have to face her own betrayal. And you? You'll start living in emotional debt. Every cold reply feels like an invoice for something you never did. You'll walk on eggshells, trying to buy back peace with patience. But patience doesn't heal guilt, it feeds it. She'll notice your effort, but not in the way you hope. She'll see your guilt as weakness. In psychology, guilt reversal is a form of power transfer. The one who feels guilty becomes the one who controls. So she'll push a little more, withdraw a little further, test how much silence you can tolerate before breaking. And when you finally ask again, "What's wrong?" she'll say, "I just don't feel the same anymore." The truth? She hasn't for a while. You just finally stopped distracting her from her own conscience. You'll think about those nights she was working late, those calls she took in the other room, the sudden shift from affection to apathy, and it'll all start to make sense. But by then, the guilt trap has already done its job. It's made you too exhausted to fight. Because that's the point. A guilty woman doesn't want confrontation, she wants quiet absolution. And the easiest way to get it is to let you believe you failed her. But guilt isn't her most dangerous weapon. The next one makes you believe you're saving her, when, in reality, she's already saving herself. 3. The hero trap. You try to fix what she's quietly breaking. You've probably been here before. She says she needs space. She's confused. She's trying to find herself. And like any good man, you hear those words and think, "I can fix this." Because that's what men do. We repair what's broken, we solve problems, we protect what we love. But here's the cruel irony. You can't rescue someone who's already halfway out the door. The space she asks for isn't about healing. It's a dress rehearsal for leaving. When a woman emotionally checks out, she doesn't want solutions. She wants freedom without guilt. And the hero trap is where most men lose themselves, because the more you try to help her, the more she feels suffocated. You think you're showing care. She feels it as pressure. You'll say things like, "Let's talk," or "I just want to understand." She'll nod, half smile, and say, "I just need time." That's her soft exit, the kind that feels gentle but cuts deeper than honesty ever could. You start doing everything you think will prove your love, cooking her favorite meal, planning a weekend trip, even writing long texts about how you'll do better. But here's what she's really thinking. If he has to convince me to stay, I've already left. And this is where her story begins to split. She'll tell you she's sorting through emotions, But behind the scenes, she's venting to someone new. Maybe that harmless coworker who suddenly knows too much about your relationship. It starts innocent enough. He just listens better than you. But emotional comfort is a powerful drug. Once she's hooked on the feeling of being understood, she'll start comparing you to him without even realizing it. You'll feel it too. The shift in tone, the way she speaks softer on the phone, the way she laughs with her screen, but not with you. That's not imagination, that's emotional transfer. She's moving her connection from you to someone else, one conversation at a time. And you'll double down. You'll become more patient, more forgiving, more desperate to prove your worth. You'll tell yourself this is love. It's not. It's panic disguised as devotion. The hero trap feeds on that instinct. The one that says, if I just hold on tighter, she'll remember what we had. But what she's remembering isn't you. It's the freedom she feels when you stop trying. Every effort you make becomes proof that you're the same man she's emotionally outgrown. She'll tell her friends, he's such a good man. I just don't feel the same. That line, I don't feel the same, is her emotional shield. It sounds gentle, but it means, I'm rewriting the story so I can leave without being the villain. And that's the hardest part, because you'll think the story can still be saved. You'll think you can talk her back, remind her, reignite her heart. But she's not listening for truth anymore. She's listening for a reason to justify her escape. Here's what most men never realize. You can't fix what she's already replaced. You can only delay the goodbye. So the question isn't how to win her back. It's why you keep fighting for someone who's already forgotten how to fight for you. But fixing her distance isn't the end of the trap. It's just the beginning. Because the next one doesn't ask you to repair her heart. It tricks you into trusting her words. 4. The trust trap. You believe her new honesty. This one feels disorienting because it comes disguised as peace. After weeks of tension, she suddenly opens up again. Her tone softens. She smiles more. She starts telling you things. Small, harmless, believable things. She says, I ran into my ex today, but it was nothing. Or, there's this new guy at work. He's funny, but don't worry, he's not my type. And because you're starving for connection, you believe her. You want to believe her. After all, she's finally being honest. Right? Wrong. You've just stepped into the trust trap. See, when a woman starts feeling guilty about her emotional distance, she doesn't confess. She overcorrects. She becomes selectively transparent. She gives you just enough information to look trustworthy, while keeping the real story behind the curtain. It's not openness, it's strategy. She knows what you're worried about. She can sense the unease in your eyes when she checks her phone. So she decides to manage your suspicion rather than earn your trust. That's why she accidentally leaves her phone on the table one night, unlocked, with nothing suspicious visible. It's not forgetfulness, it's choreography. You're meant to see what's safe, so you stop looking for what's not. This is psychological theater. Every line rehearsed, every gesture designed to say, see? I've got nothing to hide. But look closer. Her honesty is too smooth, her timing too perfect. Real truth feels natural. This kind feels scripted. She might even start volunteering details you didn't ask for. Oh, I told Mark about that joke you made at dinner. He thought it was hilarious. You'll laugh, relieved. She's sharing again. But here's the subtle danger. She's conditioning you to accept another man's presence in her narrative. She's normalizing him, inch by inch, until you no longer question why he's part of her conversations at all. It's the art of soft deception, not lies, half-truths, not silence, selective sound. You'll tell yourself, at least she's talking to me again. But what she's really doing is rebuilding your trust just enough to make her freedom invisible. She knows if she seems secretive, you'll dig. But if she seems open, you'll relax. And once you relax, you stop watching the patterns. This is why smart men get blindsided. You're not losing to lies. You're losing to comfort. You'll start doubting your instincts, calling yourself paranoid for noticing inconsistencies. You'll feel guilty for even thinking she might be hiding something. And that's exactly where she wants you, questioning yourself instead of her. Her biggest weapon isn't deceit, it's your faith, because when she convinces you that honesty has returned, you lower your guard. And when your guard is down, she can live two lives without consequence, the one you see and the one she's protecting. The trust trap doesn't break you through betrayal. It breaks you through self-doubt. It makes you complicit in your own deception. So next time her honesty feels just a little too perfect, ask yourself, is she sharing the truth or managing the narrative? Because the next trap doesn't ask for your trust. It asks for your empathy. And that one's even harder to escape. 5. The empathy trap. You confuse her pity with love. This one is the most deceptive of them all, because it doesn't hurt right away. In fact, it almost feels good at first. She's suddenly gentle again, patient, kind. She asks if you've eaten, pats your shoulder when you look tired, even sends a heart emoji after ignoring you all day. It's not affection, it's management. She's not in love, she's easing her guilt. This is how emotionally checked out women keep control of the story. They shift from partner to caretaker. You'll notice it in her tone, softer but distant. She'll still do small things for you, but not out of connection, out of pity. And pity is the quietest form of rejection there is. She feels bad for you now. The loyal man still trying, still hopeful, still believing her mood swings are temporary. You're no longer her equal, you're her emotional project. And here's the cruelest part, she'll reward your devotion with sympathy instead of passion. When you finally bring up how cold she's been, she'll say, I don't want to hurt you. Or worse, you're such a good man, you deserve someone amazing. She says it with tears in her eyes, so you mistake it for love. But what you're really hearing is a farewell wrapped in tenderness. She's rehearsing compassion, so she doesn't have to feel like the villain when she leaves. Meanwhile, her emotional energy has already shifted. There's someone, maybe at work, maybe in her messages, who makes her feel alive. The man she vents to about you, the one who just gets her. And while you're sitting there trying to comfort her sadness, she's replaying the attention she gets from him. You'll see small inconsistencies. She laughs more when she's texting, but not when she's with you. She compliments other men lightly in conversation. You know, Mark's so driven, but rarely praises you anymore. Her eyes soften when she talks about others, but glaze over when you speak. And yet, every time you pull back, she senses it, and instantly gives you a drop of warmth to keep you hooked. A kiss on the cheek, a kind text. I'm just going through a lot right now. Those crumbs of affection keep you orbiting her like gravity, because empathy, when used as a leash, is stronger than anger. You tell yourself she's just stressed, maybe going through a phase. You rationalize her distance because the moments of kindness trick you into thinking she still cares. But the truth, she's not nurturing you. She's neutralizing you, keeping you calm so she can leave without chaos. Men over 50 fall hardest for this trap because they mistake emotional mercy for loyalty. They confuse a woman's compassion for commitment. But empathy is not love when it lacks desire. It's resignation disguised as grace. And the worst part, you'll thank her for it. You'll say things like, at least she still cares, while she's already rewriting your story as the man she tried to love but couldn't reach. You see, pity doesn't end with closure. It ends with quiet erasure. But indifference isn't the final wound, because the next trap doesn't numb you. It breaks your perception of reality itself. 6. The denial trap. You see the signs, but call it stress. This is where heartbreak turns into hypnosis. You're seeing it, every change, every late-night work call, every new excuse that doesn't quite fit. But your mind won't let you believe it. You start rewriting reality just to survive it. You tell yourself she's tired, that work's been rough, that she's just going through a phase. But deep down, you already know. She's different now. Her phone is practically an extra limb. She used to toss it anywhere, face up, unlocked. Now it's always screen down, notifications silenced, the device moving rooms with her like a shadow. You mention it once, half-jokingly. You guarding national secrets on that thing? And she laughs too loud. Then comes the sigh, the irritation, the accusation. You're getting paranoid. And just like that, she flips the mirror. You start second-guessing yourself. Maybe I am overreacting. That's how denial works. It doesn't erase the truth. It trains you to doubt it. She cancels dinner, says her friend needed her. That friend, who used to text you too, suddenly vanishes from the story. You check social media, no trace of where she went, just a vague caption, self-care night. Meanwhile, her friend posts from another city. Coincidence, right? You tell yourself it is, because the alternative hurts too much. Men in their 50s, especially, fall hard into this trap. You've lived long enough to value peace over confrontation. You'd rather protect the illusion than face the explosion. So you minimize, rationalize, delay. You hold on to what's left because you fear what's next. But denial doesn't protect you. It prepares you for humiliation. Here's the truth. Her behavior isn't random. It's structured. Emotional detachment requires rehearsal, and she's been practicing for months. The short replies, the vague explanations, the soft apologies that don't actually fix anything. These aren't signals of confusion. They're the choreography of someone preparing to exit quietly. You might even start adjusting your own routine to avoid conflict. You stop asking questions. You walk lighter, speak softer, tell yourself, she just needs time. But she doesn't need time. She needs distance, and you're helping her build it, and she'll notice. She'll sense that you've chosen peace over power, silence over suspicion, and once she knows you won't confront her, she stops hiding as carefully. The girls' night out becomes a weekend trip. The co-worker she swore was harmless now sends her memes at midnight. You see it, but by now your denial has become devotion. This is where heartbreak turns cruel, because denial makes you complicit. You become the co-author of your own betrayal. You'll hear stories later, pieces that fill in the blanks you refuse to see. How she used her gym hour to meet someone. How she rehearsed arguments with her friend before finally leaving. You'll remember every moment you ignored your instincts and realized they weren't paranoia. They were prophecy. Men don't lose because they're blind. They lose because they choose comfort over confrontation. You think denial protects your dignity, but it doesn't. It just delays the moment she shatters it, and when that moment comes, it hits harder than truth ever could. But this isn't the final fall, because the last trap isn't built from lies or silence. It's built from hope. And hope, my friend, is the most dangerous illusion of them all. 7. The hope trap. You wait for a woman who's already gone. This is where most men finally break, not because she leaves, but because she doesn't. She stays just enough to keep you believing there's still something left. A text here, a polite dinner there, a smile that feels borrowed from the past. It's not love anymore, it's performance. But you cling to it, because you can't bear the final silence. You tell yourself she's just lost. You replay old memories like evidence in a trial you've already lost. The vacations, the inside jokes, the late-night talks when she used to look at you like you were home. You hold on to those moments as proof that what you had must still be somewhere inside her. But you're not holding on to her anymore. You're holding on to her ghost. Hope can be cruel when it's misplaced. It doesn't heal you. It haunts you. You start waiting for signs, a text that never comes, a good morning that used to be automatic. You check her social media, looking for clues in the smallest things, a quote, a photo, a song lyric. You're decoding a message that isn't meant for you anymore. Meanwhile, she's already rebuilding her story. New haircut, new wardrobe, new friends who never knew your name. She's rewriting her identity, and in her version, You're just a supporting character in an old chapter. Her friends know the script too. They talk about how brave she's been, how she finally found herself. And every word they say adds another nail to the coffin of the life you thought you still had. But here's the thing about hope. It tricks you into waiting for someone who stopped waiting for you months ago. You confuse her absence for mystery, her silence for reflection. You think she's figuring things out. She's not. She's just moved on to a life where your presence doesn't fit anymore. And she'll still drop crumbs, not because she cares, but because she wants to leave on good terms. How have you been? Message. A smile when you bump into her. These small gestures ignite that dangerous flicker again. Maybe she's changing her mind. No, she's just managing your exit, gently, efficiently, guilt-free. That's the real cruelty of the hope trap. She doesn't have to lie to you anymore. You'll lie to yourself for her. You start imagining a comeback story. That one day she'll realize what she lost, that she'll show up at your door with tears in her eyes. But she won't. The version of her you're waiting for doesn't exist anymore. She's been replaced by someone you can't reach, someone who outgrew the life you're still holding on to. And while you're waiting for closure, she's already found peace, not the kind that comes from forgiveness, but from forgetting. Men over 50 often fall hardest here because you've learned patience, endurance, commitment. You've been taught that if you just stay strong, love will return. But this isn't strength anymore. It's surrender. Hope isn't your salvation here. It's your cage. Because as long as you're waiting for her to come back, you're not walking forward. And the truth is, you deserve someone who chooses you in the present, not someone you have to resurrect from the past. But hope isn't the end of the story, because when it finally dies, that's when you start to live again. The harsh truth: when she's already checked out, staying becomes the slowest way to leave yourself. Don't. You've got one life, and she's already living hers. See you in the next video.